No, it was small places were given to different kings. India was divided into big and small states, and the extent of each kingdom depended on the king's military powers. So, how much a king will have, the big or a small state, depends upon his power, his military powers. And we have seen about the Rajput age, kings and their dynasties in the previous chapters. And now we will see about the administrative systems, literature, how this architecture works, and the external inventions, how different peoples from outside came to India as invaders, Gusvadias. Okay. So first we will see about the administrative system, how the administration works in during Rajput age. That is what we are going to see first. Okay class, so these are the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. Then we will see administrative system during the Rajput age. We are going to see how administration worked during Rajput age. In that we are going to see administrative system and administrative system in the villages. The administrative system of the whole state, and then we will see how it worked in villages. Then we will see about literature and architecture. Literature, what all were the poetic works, stories that were written during Rajput age. And then we will see architecture, how architectural works were created during that period, and which are the famous monuments that are present nowadays also. Then after this we will see how invaders, people from different places came here as invaders. So Muhammad Ghazni, and then how the power changed, the change in administration happened in Delhi. That is the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. So we have seen first administrative system during the Rajput age. Okay. So the India was not ruled by one king. There were several kings, and big and small states were. India was divided into big and small states, and the possession of a king depends upon the power of the king's military. Okay. So first we will see administrative system. So different Rajput dynasties came to power. We have seen, right? So the change in administration was not high. It was not like the total administrative system was changed as different kings came in. It wasn't like that. So here what was the kingship was hereditary. Means if there was a king, his sons would be the next king. If he has two sons, then the power would be given to the one who deserves it. That some tests or competitions were happened, and then the selected son of the king would become the next king. It wasn't like the eldest one will only become the next king. It wasn't happened like that. The person who deserved to be the next king got the chance. So there would be some selection procedure, and then the selected one would become the next king out of the son's king. King's son. Okay. And in some cases even people and ministers elect the next king. Okay. So it can also happen that people select their king, and ministers, the king's ministers would select that the next king would be this person. So it can also happen. So while for example in Kashmir, King Yashkarna was selected and enthroned by the Brahmin group. So the Brahmin people selected Yashkara, who was the king of Kashmir. And then Kumar Pal was selected as the successor of the council by minister. Council of ministers selected the Kumar Pal's next successor. Okay, so the minister was appointed to select the next king. Okay, it wasn't that the eldest son of the king will only become the next king. It wasn't any rule like that. that. So what happened that people became victim of poor and wrong administrative policies. But then also, even though the deserving person was the king, then also there were chances that the poor and the wrong administrative system happened. Means people were suffering because of that. So we will see now administrative system in the villages. So villages institutes were very important during the medieval period. So panchayat was the group of people who looked after the administration. Their decisions, their policies was considered the last statement by the people. There would be a mukhiya or sarpanch who would make a decision, and that decision would be followed by every person. And he was the one who would be responsible for protecting and providing justice to peoples in the village. And in many cases, the Gram Sabha would also give verdict. Means Gram Sabha would also give the decision, or even they can punish culprits. मतलब गुनहगारों को punish करने की power Gram Sabha के पास भी थी. And even today at village level, Gram Panchayats and elders of the village make decision, and that is followed by people in the village. And land revenue was the main income of the kingdom. So we have already seen that the revenue was collected from the people in the kingdom, so that the king would take the militaries, handle his militaries. They need money, right? So that also came from land revenues. And they had different policies of collecting land revenue. They gave the sixth part of the cultivation, whatever they grow, to the landlords. Then other taxes were also prevalent at that time, so that the kings can run their military forces, which indirectly would take care of the people of the village. So landlords were there to collect the taxes and pay tribute to the kings. Okay, we have done the administrative system and how it works at the village levels, like Gram Sabha, Panchayat, how Sarpanch is the one who gives the verdict and peoples obey them. And now we will see about literature. So during this Rajput age, a lot of religious writing were happened, and in that these writings were written in Sanskrit, Prakrit, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu. These were the languages in which these religious works were written. And a few epics, like if a king is killed in a historic way, then poets or writers write about that, like the killing of Shishupal by Sri Krishna, Shishupal Vadha. That was a work, that was an epic that was written about how Shishupal was killed by Lord Krishna. And then Nishadha Charitra, which was the story of Nal and Damayanti. This which was written about Nal and Damayanti. And even songs by Radha and other gopis, how they praise Lord Krishna. They have written poems about Lord Krishna that was expressed in a lyrical manner, like a song. And then Kumarpal Charitra, which was based upon the life of Solanki king Kumarpal. Okay, so in this way, some writes in a poetic manner, something is a story form, or it will also be like a song that was written, which was famous during Rajput age. And King Siddharaj Singh and Hemchandracharya were also associated with books. Books were written about them, and which is also considered important during medieval age. Okay, so Bhavbhuti wrote Uttararam Charitra, while Pandit Narayan composed Toktesh, a collection of stories based on Panchtantra. So not only poetries but also interactions, and you might have seen plays, right? So that plays were also written at that time. Now we have completed till here literature. Now we will see architecture. What are all the famous monuments that were present during Rajput age? Okay, so during this Rajput age, not only construction works but the temple construction works very noteworthy. Means they were so famous. They were like you have to look up to the architecture work that was so beautifully designed. And these Rajput kings were very fond of construction and construction of grand buildings. Their artistic styles were shown in this construction works. So, if you want to see that evident work that happened during that period, then you have to look into temples, forts, palaces, lakes that were designed during their period. So, among that temples, you will see Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh and Puri temple of Lord Jagannath in Orissa. We have heard about that, right? Then you will see their construction work, their architectic beauty in Sun temple of Konark, which was built during Rajput age. And this Konark temple was constructed with great finesse and was shaped like a chariot driven by 7 horses. When you look into the Sun temple of Konark, it is shaped in such a way that it is a chariot, rath, जिसे 7 घोड़े ले जा रहे हैं. Okay. Among the other sun temples of India, the Markandeya temple of Kashmir and Modhera Sun temple of Gujarat are famous. Other than Sun temple of Konark, Sun temple of Markandeya temple of Kashmir and Modhera Sun temple of present in Gujarat are also famous. And in Modhera temple, it is said that the first rays of the sun fall directly on the idol. जो प्रतिष्ठा होती है भगवान की, सन की पहली किरणें उस प्रतिष्ठा पर डायरेक्ट फॉल करती है, मतलब जो भगवान की मूर्ति उस पर फॉल करती है. Ellora caves of Deccan have caves representing 3 religions. जो Ellora caves है उसमें हिंदुइज्म, बुद्धिज्म और जैनिज्म तीनों की religious values represent की गई है. One among these is the Grand Kailash temple. And Elephanta caves near Mumbai have a beautiful 3-faced sculpture of Lord Shiva. Elephanta caves जो मुंबई के पास है उसमें जिस Lord Shiva के 3 faces वाली एक beautiful प्रतिष्ठा है. The Meenakshi temple in Madurai is famous all over India. And the South India specific well-known work of Gopurams, like the gateways, the entrance, the Gopurams is the speciality of temples in South India. After hearing about the famine of such grand temples, many foreigners even invaded, means came to India and tried to take these possessions from India. So invaders means the हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं घुसपैठिए, right? तो जब इंडिया की डिफरेंट आर्किटेक्चर वर्क की फेमस वर्ल्ड फेमस होने लगा, तो जो घुसपैठिए होते हैं वो इंडिया में लूट के इरादे से आने लगे. जहाँ अपने सोमनाथ टेम्पल गुजरात भी बहुत बार अटैक हो चुका है. Okay, so we have seen about architecture. Now we will see about Muhammad Ghazni. Who was Muhammad Ghazni? So Rajput age is well known for their virtues, means their power was such a way that they would die, but for their country they were ready to sacrifice. They would get down to someone else to ask for help. But if some enemies also comes to them, India. And one such attack when Gujarat was under Bhimdev Solanki's rule, he pondered Somnath. Many people from Saurashtra and Gujarat helped joined in hand with Sahibra Bhimdev Solanki to protect Somnath, but they failed. Means Muhammad Ghazni was the one who was failed numerous times, but then also he never stopped. He tried attacking India again and again. And one such time when Gujarat was under Bhimdev Solanki, he when Gujaratis gained power over Gujarat. Okay. Then we have seen about Muhammad Ghazni. Now we will see the change of power at Delhi. How the Delhi was attacked and the power changed from Rajput to Muslims. So after the demise of Muhammad Ghazni, the leaders of Ghazna, what happened? The fight for throne started. So when Muhammad Ghazni died, the Delhi was under Muhammad Ghazni, right? So when Muhammad Ghazni died, there was fight for power of throne at Delhi. But Rajput didn't take advantage of the situation, and attacked Shahabuddin Ghori, who was established a strong rule in Ghazna and decided to attack India. Shahabuddin Ghori, who had already a strong power in Ghazna, he attacked India. But his intention was not to loot, not to take anything from India, but to establish his power in India. That was what his intention was. Initially, he wasn't successful, and he even could not forget the defeat that Queen Naika Devi of Anhilwar Patna, and therefore did not attack India for 12 years. Means he lost badly by Queen Naika Devi of Anhilwar Patna, and then he didn't attack India for 12 years. And but when he second time attacked Delhi, Prithviraj fought bravely without any prior preparation. Means this Shahabuddin Ghora, he attacked all of a sudden. So Prithviraj was not prepared about this fight, but then also he fought bravely and was defeated. And at that time the Rajput age came to an end at Delhi, and then Shahabuddin established a rule there, and he extended his kingdom there. This Shahabuddin was a slave, so he was a founder of slave dynasty. Means Shahabuddin Ghori was a slave. He was under someone else. He was not belonging to any royal family. So he, when came to the throne of Delhi, he established a slave dynasty, and his excellent ones Qutbuddin Ibn. After Shahabuddin Ghori, who came to the throne, Qutbuddin Ibn. Okay. So with this, Rajput rule came to end in Delhi. When Prithviraj died in the war with Shahabuddin Ghori, the Rajput age came to an end in Delhi. And there was a change of administration and society. Means how Rajput used to rule, their administration system and how their society used to work had totally changed as Shahabuddin Ghori came to throne. And what was the changes and how the changes happened, you can look into that. In place of brother and sister, people started conspiring against each other for power. The throne of Delhi was stained with blood. Means when Rajput were ruling, there was sacrifice. There were people who were brave enough to give their life for the motherland. But as this people like Shahabuddin Ghori came to power, what happened? The throne of Delhi was stained with blood. Means people were ready to kill each other to gain the power. Means the ultimate thing that was important during that period was power. get the power. That was the change that came in the administration. So okay, we have came to the end of the lesson. I hope you are clear with the terms. If there is any term that you are unaware, you can ask me. So we have discussed this much topic: administration system during the Rajput age, what are and how the administration works in the villages, Gram Sabha, Panchayat, how Sarpanch takes the decision. Then we have seen about the literature work like poetries and how the life of the kings, their braveries were written down, jotted down in different forms by the poets. Okay, we have also seen the architecture work, how the Sun Temple of Konark, Modhera Temple. We have seen how beautifully they were architect, which are the beautiful examples of architecture during Medieval age. Then we have seen how Muhammad Ghazni invaded India with many times, but he was unsuccessful each time. But finally he was successful. And then how the power, as Muhammad Ghazni died, how the power changed at the throne of Delhi. How Muhammad Ghazni was killed, and then his own slave Shahabuddin Ghori came to power and brought slave dynasty into rule. And we have seen how the brave and sacrificed people, that rules were changed